Greeting lecturer and hello to all the classmates. My name is Ratana Bek. I am from Group 6. Today, I am very delighted to present you about how negotiation skills can address the gender pay gaps. So, moving to the next slide, I would like to introduce you a table of our contents. The first one, which is about introductions. The second one is about literature review. The third one is about case study. Four is about case analysis. Fifth, conclusion. And six, about reference. So without any further delay, I would like to draw your attention to look at the introductions. So first of all, I would like to give the definition to the negotiations. If we talk about negotiation skill, we can define by many different meanings. But here is my definition that I would like to give. The first one, negotiation is an essential knowledge and skill for managing professional relationships. It also enables people to have good communications, attentive listening, and the interest of each party. Negotiation skills demonstrate various styles that can be an applicable resolutions to the gender pay gap issue. Um, furthermore, um, furthermore, it facilitates the development of strong link with others and the ability to reach win-win agreement in a variety of contents, concluding the workplace, business, operations, and interpersonal relationships. Nonetheless, there is a lengthy history of unfriendly interactions while negotiations waged particularly between men and women of different genders. This day, the gender wage gap remains a problem that causes economic disparities between men and women. Negotiations ability can be very helpful in resolving this issue. So the next part will be presented by Magra, which is about literature review. Thank you.
So thank you, Sister Pick, greeting teacher. I'm Ian McGrath, who is the second presenter. After that, I would like to talk about our literature review. The literature review will look at three areas of study to explore the role of negotiation in the gender pay gap, such as the gender pay gap, workplace culture, gender-based negotiation. Next slide, please. So it's evident that the gender pay gap has a long history. Despite laws like the Equal Pay Act, the discrimination still occurs, not just at a general level, but also between men and women explored in the same fields. Additionally, inequality in pay between white men and women of color are shown by intersection knowledge theory, which highlights situational relationship between gender, race, social class, and geography. According to the previous study, in 2021, Latinas made only 54.5% of what non-Hispanic white male made, whereas Black women made 58% of what non-Hispanic white men made in 2022. Furthermore, 68% of Black moms are the primary or only provider for their family, meaning that even while Black women participate in the workplace at a far higher rate than most other men and women, and the pay gap is still considerable greatly for them. according to by Hunt 2023. Next slide, please. Another thing is we look at the gender in the workplace. Some studies shows that women leaders are beneficial to culture of academic workplace, particularly when women have position of considerable authority. Based on Australian academic cultures, improve and grow more welcome, encouraging and collaborative by Chesterman et al. 2003. Similarly, Spanish University administrators who were women were recognized for their ability to manage programs well and attend to staff member needs and foster a healthy work environment by Thomas et al. 2010. However, according to AD 2020, reported that 45% of the more than 90,000 complaints of job discrimination that the Equal Job Opportunity Commission received in 2015 were due to sex discrimination, and about 8 to 10% of women reported having experienced sexual harassment at work, and women are much more likely to encounter it when their race and gender overlap by Verblom 2016. Next slide, please. And the last part of literature review is talk about gender-based negotiation, or whether there is a real difference in negotiation skill between the gender. The research on women negotiation is a little inconsistent. While the majority of research indicate that women engage in negotiations less frequently than males. You see, what is the evidence from the literature review that women typically receive lower financial returns than men do by 2020, and according to the Upcourse and Lachever in 2003, the study revealed that gender differences in negotiation frequently men negotiation more often than women, with 57% of MBA graduates and only 7% of women negotiating compensation for their first job. And women also have a longer time between last and expected future negotiation, while men negotiation less than. So that's it for the literature review. Please move on to the case study will be presented by our next presenter. Thank you.
Greeting teachers, me Malcolm Starrott. Today my part is gonna focus on the case study. Next slide. For this case study is to examine the evidence that acquiring negotiation skill contributes in solving gender pay gap issue. This aim to extend the negotiations is effective in reducing the gender pay gap, which means tend to achieve better economic results and securing higher earning in negotiations than women. And a negotiations ban could backfire in such a setting as management will perceive men as more productive and pay them more than women. Next slide. So, according to GSLAB ETAL 2023, they have used a lab to experiment the effect of negotiations by involving two parties, included managers and the two workers, who personal characteristics like age, genders, and area of the study are revealed to the manager. For the task, the two workers must perform a task to generate a profit for the managers and a surplus that the managers must distribute between the two workers. And one, as a result, one worker who is a man if given a high productivity task, and other one worker who is a female if given in a low productivity task. uncertainties over this productivity, we can ensure that variations in subjective assessment of worker efforts and allow for negotiations to signal productivity. Furthermore, negotiations only improve compensation for workers who are assigned more productive tasks, and it does only for men. Hence, they can see that it can increase an inequality both between and within the tasks between men and women. And in contrast, to reduce a inequality in the organizations, there are an effective strategy to raise an equal compensation for men and women, which organization aims to increase pay transparency to reduce gender differences in negotiations, which included the managers and workers. They must clarify and have a clear data about salary information, disclosing pay range, reporting pay statistics by occupations and gender, and letting candidates know if and when compensation is negotiable. Also, transparency allows individuals to set similar negotiation expectations, and the hope that reduced gender differences in negotiation has in part motivated public transparency policy. Besides that, organizations should emphasize shared goals and objectives to advocate for fair compensations between men and women to provide an achievement skill and overall organization success. So, in conclusions, as an organization have a compensation structure to ensure equal pay for work between men and women are fulfilled with the outcome, and the achievement of this negotiation will benefit the outcome in the workplace. So that is all of my parts. Next will be presented by Ravadi. Thank you.
Thank you, Satarot. My name is greeting teacher and everyone. My name is Maisirai Putra. Today I'm going to cover the part 4, which is the case analysis, where we go through the intricate relationship between gender and the workplace. Before we go through the case study, let me highlight the literature review. The literature review uncover the gender and workplace interconnectedness, the key challenge, which is the gender pay gap, workplace culture, negotiation process, the unjustifiable gender pay gap for women, and the hurdle of women faced in the successfully negotiating for financial returns. Next is we talk about the case study. Uh, Building upon the literature, we examine the compelling case study, which we explore the behavior of the differential treatment and the uh, salary negotiation restriction impact the gender pay gap. In this case study, biases were evident, favoring male employee with a productivity-related task while assigning a female employee a low productivity task. Next, parallel with the literature. As we already understand the literature and the case study, we can draw connections. The case study align with the broader literature, emphasizing the complexity of the gender difference. Next is the objective assessments. It is crucial. Uh, it is crucial to use the fair and unbiased evaluation instead of personal opinion. This help make sure the assessment are accurate and not influenced by biasness. Last is the need of a comprehensive approach. We need uh, we need a strategy to address how negotiation and company culture contribute to gender pay gap. Next is the observation of the case study. Observing a potential biasness in the task assignment based on gender, we discern the implication for corporate culture perpetuating gender disparity. This means noticing the possible unfairness in giving tasks based on gender and understanding how to connect to the overall culture of the company that keep the gender difference in place. In simple terms, it's about realizing the biasness in the task assignment and understand how they reflect and contribute to a broader gender disparity in the workplace. This study provides a deeper understanding of the gender pay gap issue, offering a starting point to address gender-based pay difference in our workplace. That is all from me. And next, Mita will talk about the method to address the issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Ravadi. Greeting teacher and everyone. My name is Amita, and I will be the one who is responsible for talking about the methods to address the issue of pay gap between men and women. So the first method that we can do to fix the issue is called fixing institute, in which proposed by Ricardo and Westerland in 2020. So in the fixing institute here, it means to create the elimination of gender double standards, in which to eliminate any inequality between men and women inside a workplace. And so it is to create an equitable and fair work division for both men and women. And in here, it means that when a woman has the same qualification as a man, and so the supervisor or in the workplace should divide the suitable work in which the man can do this work, women can also do the work as well. Another thing is to increase the elimination of gender pay differences, in which men and women should receive the same pay in the same work that they do. And so in here, it can create sorry, a very fair workspace for women to feel that they are being appreciated inside of the workplace. Another thing it is to create a transparency in negotiation, in which there are no secret between people inside of the institute. So in here, it means that the employer should create a transparent meeting or negotiation in everything that include both men and women, in which they know everything about the thing that they are discussing, such as for the payment as well. And so in here, they can create the information about salary, in which the range are being discussed with both men and women. And it also can help the employee with both gender to negotiate their salary more effectively as well. And this also can give the equal right to women, in which in currently the 21st century, and so everyone has the same right. And so it is the time that the institute should try to address to create the equal right to women as well. And the next method, next slide, please. It is called empowering women, in which we can use the negotiation to help women to empowering their skill themselves. And so the first thing that women should know is to recognize their own skill, in which they know their ability, in which they can do anything, such as men as well. And so in here, it create the encouragement to women themselves to address the issue properly, in which they can use their right to talk out about the gender pay gap inside of their workplace. And so the acknowledgement of having equal right allow the woman to address the issue more effectively. And they can also involve the constructive feedback in negotiation, in which they can talk out from their opinion, in which they can try to negotiate for the equal right and equal payment with the men as well. And in here, the women should also have the assertiveness, in which she can stand by her own point and she can talk out what her opinion is about. And so it is also to create the skill development in which women can also try to develop their skill, especially in negotiation skill, in which they can be trained to develop their technique in to have discussion successfully. And it can involve with being assertive as well, in which the women can use it to negotiate between their manager or their supervisor to have the same pay as men and as other people as well. And so all of these methods can help to eliminate the pay gap between men and women, in which in the 21st century everyone have the equal right. And so it is also important to for women to have the same payment in the same work that they do inside of their workplace as well. And it is also known that women are good at their job, and so they are there is nothing to object that women should receive less pay. And so this is it for the method to address the issue. It's come to the conclusion which will be presented by Bonsela. Thank you.
Thank you, Mitas, and greeting, esteemed teacher, and a warm hello to everyone. My name is Sasilas, and as we wrap up to our discussion, it's clear that the gender pay gap remains a persistent challenge impacting women from diverse backgrounds. And addressing this complex issue requires a multifaceted approach that involves both organizational and individual efforts. And as well as despite the legal measures, the gender pay gap continues to persist, casting its shadow on the professional lives of women across various fields. And as a biased workplace cultures and limited opportunity all play a role in perpetuating this issue, making it crucial for us to consider comprehensive situation. So now let's take a look on the next slide, which is about the suggestions on how to negotiate it. To cater this problem, organization can adapt to essential strategy that serves as building blocks for a fair and inclusive workplace. First, the first step involves conducting assessment for or fitting into measurement, a proactive measure to identify and rectify any disparity in compensation. And the second strategy focuses on adopting equitable and transparent negotiation procedures that empower both genders in negotiation process and promoting a cultural equality. So in the realm of negotiations, clear communication, active listening, and a shared focus on objective as paramount, in which that can enhance understanding and trust in negotiation as well. And also encouraging open discussion about salary information and addressing the detail openly can significantly contribute to create a more conclusive and fair professional environment. So by incorporating this strategy into our organization practice, we are not just addressing a crime, but we are working forward vision of reduced inequality and a workplace that is equitable for all. So, in conclusion, let us collectively commit to this change and strive forward a workplace that not only acknowledges but actively works to eliminate the gender pay gaps. Yeah, so that's all for our presentation. So now let's take a look on the reference. And this and our reference out the topic on how negotiation skill can address the gender pay gap. So thank you for your attention.